Are you ready for the confession? I know you
Yeah.
asked her. Neither myself or Reese has ever gone inside the Corvette Museum, but everybody says you gotta go.
Yeah. I'm not like a huge like car girl, so
Do you love the outdoors?
Do you love to travel?
Do you love finding hidden treasures in towns all over the USA? Hi, I'm Joshua.
And I'm Craig, and welcome to Treasures of Our Town, the podcast that takes you on a journey to explore the unique and charming towns hidden throughout the United States.
Join us as we venture into some of the country's most intriguing destinations, uncovering hidden gems and local secrets along the way.
On today's episode, Josh, we have a very, very special guest. I felt like I've known her since she was like a real young child as such, but probably about 10 years of age. But I only actually met her in person like a month or two ago. It is the one, the only, some people call her Reese the Bunny, but you call her my daughter, and Reese Johnson. She's going to be on the show today.
Can you believe it?
I know.
My daughter Reese is on the show. And she's taking us to a special place.
Yeah.
She's taking us to a state that we have been to together.
Yep.
And that is, we're going back to Kentucky.
Oh, good old Kentucky. I remember the bourbon we had from Kentucky. The Kentucky, was delicious.
Yeah.
I had some last night. I finished the bottle last night, actually.
You finished the Green River
bottle last
Distillery
night? Yeah.
Bottle?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you just like drink it? Do you drink it straight up or what?
Yeah, straight up with ice. Remember, that's what they told us to do. We went on the tour, the bourbon tour, and they told us how to drink it. And what I do is, because it made the fire in my throat like always, like just on ice. But I put a little, like I'm talking like a thimble of water in. And bam, it changed it straight away, and made the flavoring in the mouth and then smooth down the throat. So yeah, that was good. There you go. So yes, I
have
the bottle.
So much left.
Oh, really?
I have so much left. You know, I need to try to mix it into a Bloody Mary. You know, I love my Bloody Marys. And it does. We tried one at the airport when we left Kentucky.
Yeah, we did.
It has a kind of a smoky taste to the Bloody Mary. It was very unique. I love the Bloody Mary. Anyway, Craig,
you need to.
How have you been?
I've been good, mate. I've been good. The GIF reel has been released now from the geocaching site. People don't know what GIF reel is. GIF, GIFF. Stands for Geocaching International Film Festival. And if you didn't actually realize that, I submitted a film for the film festival, and it was proudly to say it was actually selected as a finalist. And so there was 18 finalists in total. All the festival is now completed and finished, and the full reel is now available on YouTube, or mine itself is available on my channel. And I do like a prelude to it as well. So I give people a bit more of a backstory about it, because it's not just the stock standard funny or FTF or let's go find a cache type style. It's basically how I started geocaching. So yeah, that's now out and that's now done. I've got a lot of support on from the geocaching community, which is great. You know, a lot of people reach out in so many different ways now. It's incredible.
That was really awesome. Really loved your film. I got to see it before anybody else.
Yeah, you did.
Which was really cool. I got to see it before the final product, and it was great because you're right. A lot of those films tend to go on the funnier side. Yeah. And this one talked about just the very important issue of mental health, and really appreciated your authenticity and your transparency. And I think the geocaching community really appreciated it too. So
they did.
Check it out. It's in our show notes.
Certainly
it's
is.
Called Echoes.
Now, do you know the reason for the actual name, Josh? You think about it. You kind of think you do.
No, yeah.
Basically, just a quick rundown is that echoes is because I suffer from PTSD, you see, and so it's the echo that features in my brain from the things that I've seen and done and experiences that I've had in my journey as a police officer. So yeah, echoes in my brain. So that's where I come up with echoes. So anyway.
Yes.
Let's get on to some friendly stuff. Thanksgiving. We've just had Thanksgiving as well. A happy Thanksgiving to you, mate.
Yeah, Thanksgiving's the best. Thanksgiving's my favorite.
Yeah, what did you do?
It's like one of my favorite American holidays.
What did you do?
Oh, we just had family over. We hosted. As you know, we remodeled our level, our first level of our house.
Yeah.
So it was perfect for hosting. I went to Walmart and I bought a 6-foot table. I extended our table out. So it was like a large boardroom table. And we just had a good old fashioned meal. My parents were here, my brother, my niece and nephew. We had a great time. We got to watch a little football. there's not a lot of pressure around Thanksgiving other than the meal. You know, in the holidays,
of course.
Christmas can be a little bit like gotta get gifts for everybody.
Yeah.
But this is just about spending time and being grateful, which I love.
And you had all 3 kids there with you this year as well?
Yeah,
all
first
3.
time in 5 years.
Wow.
First time in 5 years because we flew Jonah home. He's still in college in Bowling Green, which is what we're talking about today.
Yep.
Perfect. And it was really amazing to have the whole family here.
Yeah.
And speaking of Thanksgiving, and one of our favorite games, munzee.
Yes.
I have to mention this. So if you don't know what munzee is, it's another location-based game like geocaching. It's based on QR codes, but you get a lot of badges.
Yeah, a lot of points.
I love the badges, Craig.
Yes, you do.
I love the badges. And they put out a badge this week that was based on trains, planes, and automobiles.
What?
You know that. You know. Don't be surprised.
I do. I'm trying to act surprised like I'm actually interested in what you're saying, which I am. But planes, trains, and automobiles. Well, I mentioned it in my other podcast with Rob, the president of munzee as well. We discussed it. Yeah. And Josh, he didn't. I said to because it's about Dylan, one of the staff of munzee, and it's his. And so it was planes, trains, and automobiles. So that was pretty cool. And I said to him at the time, Rob, I said, "Oh, you know what, Dylan? You know what? He's proud of his town." I said, "That's a rare thing these days." I said that in the podcast, and he just agreed with me like it was no laugh, no nothing. And I said to him, "You do know that's actually a line from the show?" He goes, "What are you talking about?" And so I had to educate him, Josh, like you do with me all the time when you say this is a line from that particular show. So yeah.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, it's so funny because it's a parody. It has the president of munzee is the Steve Martin character, and then Dylan is the John Candy character. No. I had to go out and we had to cap in the game. We had to cap these VHS tapes, basically.
Yes.
And I got all 3 badges and made me really happy.
That's really cool. Speaking of munzee, one more thing we'll run down as well. Guess what's just been released too as this one goes live, as this episode goes live? A brand new munzee tutorial series on my personal channel. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
So if you're listening to this and you don't know what we're talking about, you can go to Craig's channel and he can educate you
on what is munzee, and it is a beginner series too, Josh. I will say that. So
that's fantastic.
Those people who play and play often, they can watch it. Of course they can. You know, I'm not going to stop them from doing it, but they won't benefit from it. The ones who will definitely benefit from it are the ones who are thinking to themselves, yeah, exactly. What is this munzee that they're talking about? What are its QR codes? What are the points? And let's be honest, Josh, munzee is a lot more, intricate, let's just say, than geocaching. In my mind, more complicated. Yeah. There's more rabbit holes to go down. There's a lot more things to learn. And so this is just literally a beginner tutorial series. There's eight episodes in the series as well, talking from anything to what is munzee all the way through the virtual munzees, physical munzees, things like that. So just the basics. I love that. Just the basics, mate. So yeah, that's all live now.
Well, that's fantastic. But this isn't a geocaching podcast.
No, it's not.
This isn't a munzee podcast.
No, it's
this is a travel podcast based on the places that geocaching and games like munzee bring us.
Exactly.
And so we need to get to our very, very special guest.
We sure do. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone else as well, please welcome the star of this show today, and that is Reese Johnson. How you going, Reese?
Hey, please hold the applause, please.
I wonder
You're
where
gonna have to edit some applause in there.
I will. Don't worry. Don't worry. I wonder where you get it from.
I just mentally hear it all the time.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice to hear just like a little added applause in there.
And rightfully so too. Let's say rightfully so. So Reese, you're Josh's eldest child. How old are you now?
I'm a whole 24 years old.
24.
I've been 24 for about 2 months.
Wow. So I've been watching videos of you since you were about 10. So that's 14 years of over half, double your lifetime. I've been watching you on your father's videos. Tell me, going back a little bit of history on you itself as well. So going back to when your dad started doing videos itself, did you want to be in the videos? What did you think when he started geocaching and videos and stuff like that too? Did you enjoy what were you doing or?
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds probably pretty cheesy, but I think just as kids, we all just enjoyed spending time with our parents. And so not only were we spending time with our parents, but we were also doing 2 other things that kids love doing, and that's being outside, and then on top of that, being creative.
Exactly.
I think that's something that was kind of been instilled in us since forever.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm not sure if you know this, Reese, or not, that when I started geocaching, my kids, like the first day that we went geocaching, I came home and I was cooking dinner and I heard your dad's voice in the living room. What is that? And it was my son watching, YouTube videos of you and your dad and geocaching. And so it was because of your family unit, my kids then said to me, can we start videos, Dad? So it was their idea as well as kids to start videos because they watched you, they watched Jonah, and you know what I mean? Like they loved watching you with their dad and playing this awesome game. So which is really awesome. So thank you for that. Just saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what?
What?
We don't have this in the show notes, but I just realized Reese just got back from a trip.
Yeah.
And I think she needs to share about it because she had some amazing things happen to her when she went to New York and to Paris and beyond.
But tell us about your trip, Reese. Where did you go?
Yeah, so I did basically a world tour in 10 days alone.
What?
Yes.
Australia not included, though, I take it.
No, Australia not included.
So not really a world.
And it wasn't really a world.
It was a Northern Hemisphere tour. Northern Hemisphere tour.
Absolutely, yeah. So I went to New York for about 4 days, and then after New York, I flew to Paris, where I spent another 5 days, I think, and then I flew to Oslo, Norway.
Yeah.
And then I came home.
Wow,
so it was really fun.
That's really cool.
She had a very special meeting with somebody in New York. You should tell them about that.
Oh.
Yeah, I did. I'm not going to go into too much
No,
detail.
I don't think she can go into too much detail as yet. Let's just say that. She's got
connections.
But she does have connections. And yeah, I heard about it at the time. What can you tell us about the connections that you're referring to?
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to go to an event this summer for a pretty major publication. And there I actually had the opportunity to speak with the CEO of this publication. And then we swapped numbers, and basically I was like, hey, I'm going to be in New York City because I was making some content for an artist in New York City. And she was like, well, come on by. We'll show you the headquarters. And so I went there, and I ended up, her meeting after me was the Olympic skier, Lindsey Vonn.
Wow.
Who just happened to actually go to my middle school. So it was really cool that I got to say to her, like, hey, Lindsey, I've always looked up to you. Like, literally, your picture's in my middle school. And she's like, you go to blank middle school? I was like, yeah, I go to blank middle school. So it was a really wild experience.
The CEO of this company must have been like, this woman Reese knows everyone.
Exactly. Josh, I will say, Josh, Reese just said blank middle school because she can actually, edit herself as she goes, unlike her dad. Like Josh I have to edit Josh so much more than what I can Reese. That's really cool, Reese. Congratulations, by the way. But you know what?
Thank you.
Deserved, because you are a hard worker at it. But all your family are hard workers. I'll say that. I've known the family for a while now, and all 5 of you are extremely hard workers, including your mother as well. Beautiful
Such
woman.
a hard worker.
Exactly. So we're going to move now onto Bowling Green. So where is Bowling Green? Josh, you messaged me about Bowling Green, and I went, what? Where's Bowling Green?
Bowling Green.
Yeah.
I think there's a Bowling Green, Ohio, too.
Oh, okay.
Don't confuse it with Bowling Green, Ohio. This is Bowling Green, Kentucky. And Bowling Green, Kentucky is about an hour north of Nashville.
Okay.
And it is the location of Western Kentucky University. This is my connection to it because not one, but 2 of my children are on the nationally recognized champion speech and forensics team there.
Oh, okay.
So I have had many visits to Bowling Green, and Reese and her brother Jonah have lived there for quite some time.
Oh, wow. So what made you go to Bowling Green then, Reese?
It really wasn't on my radar. until my senior year of high school, where I was pretty heavily involved in speech and debate. And I was offered an opportunity to compete on the team and also a very, very good deal for school. And so...
Which father really appreciated.
Yes. And so I remember I told my dad, I was like, Dad, I guess, you know what? I'm going to school in rural Kentucky. And that wasn't the plan at all. I think it was like a month before school started where I actually like signed the contract and made a decision to go. And so we took a road trip all the way through down to Bowling Green, Kentucky.
That's a good accent, Reese.
That really is.
Did you pick that up?
Yeah, I did. It's another one of my egos at this point.
So basically, it's a school down there itself. Is it called the Bowling Green College, or what's it called? The school that you went
called
to?
Western Kentucky University.
Western Kentucky.
They are the Hilltoppers.
Oh.
And if you look it up, their mascot is like a big red blob.
It's literally the top. It's not a hill. It's the top of a hill.
Oh.
That has eyes.
And
he looks like a red Grimace, like Grimace from McDonald's. Only looks red, and his name is Big Red, right?
Yep.
I think his name should be Toppy because he's a hill topper, but it's Big Red.
Well, our slogan is "Tops on top."
Oh, that's
Tops
fair
on
enough.
top.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. So, Josh, when you said to me about let's go to Bowling Green, I'm thinking to myself, well, I don't know this. I don't know if you or Reese know. Have you either of you ever heard of the sport / hobby of lawn bowls?
Lawn bowling?
Lawn bowls, yeah.
Is it the same thing as bocce ball?
No, very, very different. So lawn bowls is a more of a British game. I think maybe Canada play it as well, but it's even in the Commonwealth Games, which you're not a part of because you're not part of the Commonwealth. But Australians play it. And when I was growing up, it was one of my hobbies that I had, apart from, believe it or not, ballroom dancing. But I played lawn bowls as well. Lawn bowls is predominantly an older person's sport or hobby, and all it is very similar to bocce, except you don't actually throw the ball itself, the bocce ball. It's a lawn bowl, and it's got a bias on one side, so it's heavier on one side than the other. And so you bowl the ball down the green, and it's a bowling green that you're on, see? So you bowl the lawn bowl down the green, and it goes out wide and then comes into a white small jack. And so it's how many closest to the jack wins that that end, so to speak. So yeah, so there you go. Oh. You learn something new every day. You're welcome.
I don't really know why Bowling Green is called Bowling Green. Do you know, Reese?
I mean, I think a Google search might answer that question. But no, that wasn't part of orientation at all. It wasn't.
You imagine that in your orientation now. The reason why we're called Bowling Green is all the young people will be like, we don't really care. Just come on, let's get on with it.
So the reason I wanted to talk about Bowling Green, of course, my kids have lived there. I've visited there many times. I believe it fits the theme of this podcast, which is it has lots of hidden treasures. People don't think of Bowling Green all the time.
No.
A lot of people, when you bring it up, they think it's in Ohio. And Bowling Green has a lot to offer once you discover it.
Well, we're going to go through very soon, like in regards to Reese's highlights, the top 5, if you're not, of the places that you've been to in or around Bowling Green that you actually really enjoy. And again, I read through the show notes, Reese. I didn't realize the quality of tourism that can be, in again, Josh, the little small towns that no one really knows about. And that's exactly what this podcast is about, the treasures of your town. So that's really cool. But before we start, any good place to eat, Reese, that you can think of? What sort of places that you like to eat at?
Absolutely. Well, here's the thing. Bowling Green is actually, I believe this is true, and someone can fact check me on this post-show, but I believe it has the most restaurants per capita than any other town in the U.S.
Wow.
So literally the entirety of Bowling Green
is restaurants.
And I believe someone told me it was because it's often the place where travelers will stop. coming from the north going into the south. So a lot of chain restaurants specifically will have like test stores there, basically to see how these restaurants work, how they play out. And so literally the entire landscape of Bowling Green is pretty much restaurants.
Wow.
Yeah, the main strip is every chain you could ever think of.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Including my favorite, Texas Roadhouse.
Oh, there he is.
The definition of America.
Don't you have shares in Texas Roadhouse, Josh? Is that the one?
What's that?
Don't you have actual shares in Texas Roadhouse?
Oh, I'm a stockholder. Yes, we talked about that. We talked about that on the Grand Forks episode.
All right, give us some of the ones that you actually like to eat at, Reese. What are some of the names of the ones you like to eat at?
So if you're going to get coffee or something to eat in the morning, the number one place that people will tell you to go is Spencer's Coffee. They have 2 locations. It is amazing coffee for both the summer and the winter. And I mean, it's packed with college students, but it's not just a college spot. It's literally everyone in the town goes to Spencer's Coffee. There's also my favorite restaurant, and a lot of people might not agree with me on this, but I've literally traveled all over the world. I've been to Europe. I've been to Africa. I've been to New York, which is like the foodie heaven of the world. But I will say my favorite restaurant of all time is this place called Shogun Express. Now,
it sounds like a chain.
Yeah,
it sounds like a chain restaurant. It's not a chain restaurant.
Okay.
It is a drive-through sushi restaurant. It's small. There's 2 things that you must get. There is the Boston roll, which is just amazing, but they also have this roll called the Pink Lady roll, and it is like the South and sushi put together into this beautiful, unhealthy mess of amazingness.
The South and sushi put together. Interesting.
Absolutely.
See, I don't get that. And maybe it's just me because I'm from Australia and predominantly 98% of our population is literally on the coastline. I don't understand eating sushi or fish-related products inland. So you're in the middle of Kentucky, and yet here they have as a sushi place, and it's your favorite place of all time, which is that's a huge call.
Like, I don't get it either. I don't understand it. I don't know what goes on in there, and I don't really even want to know. But
Have you been that desperate?
I haven't. But they did get on DoorDash, so.
There you go.
Problem solved.
Problem solved. Exactly. Any other places before we move on, Reese?
And then if you want some like actual high quality food, there's this restaurant called Hickory and Oak. It is really well known in Bowling Green, and they have an amazing brunch where it's unlimited brunch. It is like $100, but it is so worth it. It is, people come from all over just to have Hickory and Oak. So 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Fair enough. Hickory and Oak. It even sounds like actually a good name for a restaurant as well, like an upper class sort of restaurant. Hickory and Oak, as opposed to Shogun Express.
Shogun Express sounds like something you get at the mall.
Yes,
Incredible.
Well, I do have a Shogun restaurant near me here. I've never actually been to it, but it is a restaurant that is attached to a golf course, so it's going to be totally different. I guess
it's a very common name, but I've learned that they're definitely not the same. Shogun to Shogun.
That's true.
And I see in the show notes there's one more on the show notes as well. Hilligans. What's Hilligans about?
Okay, so Hilligans is for a very specific crowd of people.
Oh.
Hilligans is I lived like literally a block from it.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very cheap place to get drinks that are very good. It definitely has a college vibe to it.
I was going to say college town, yeah.
Depending when you go, maybe the summer wouldn't be too bad.
No, and it's also just like it's kind of like a cultural experience too, where it's like very southern. A lot of my friends have worked there. Like it's a great atmosphere, even though when you first see it, it might come across as kind of like dirty. But it's a fun time.
Yeah.
It's a fun time.
Well, the only thing I can relate to, Reese, is that I've been geocaching around Rutgers College here in New Jersey. And in going around there and geocaching around Rutgers itself, I've seen these dive bars that you're referring to that literally sell like $1 or $2 beers, in plastic cups and like sticky floor. And is that the sort of style, the sort of vibe you're talking about? Like the real good college vibe.
Absolutely. But the food on top of it is actually really good. So like people will literally go there for lunch, like in between classes and stuff. Like,
same with this bar as well. They had like amazing paninis. Like the paninis were out of this world that they were actually serving, and cheap. Because it's a college town, it's so cheap. So that's really cool. Reese, I've got to ask you another question, by the way. Going back to you and your dad and geocaching since you were 10, do you geocache without him at all?
I think whenever if I would geocache without him, it would be for other people to experience it.
Oh, yeah, okay, teach them.
Yeah, like I probably would never go alone because I view it personally as like something you do to like have an experience with someone else.
Yeah.
That's how I've always viewed it. And so if I did do it, it would usually be like to show like my friends or something like, hey, look what's like right here at this place.
So did you go geocaching in Paris then? Did you find a cache in Paris?
This is painful.
I didn't know.
She didn't go geocaching in Paris. She didn't go geocaching in Norway. She didn't go geocaching in Portugal. She didn't. Are you kidding me? I don't even have those countries.
You just need to find one, Reese. Doesn't matter. You just need to find one. Just one.
You could have made a video. I would have put it on my channel. Missed opportunity, big time. But she did go to Frost. She went to Frost.
What's Frost?
Yeah.
Frozen.
So, well, you just gave away the ending.
Sorry.
So I was like alone at night in Oslo. And the thing is, Norway shuts down at like 7 p.m.
Yeah, like Australia.
And so I was walking down the street and I'm like, oh, there's a theater. Let me go in the theater. And I walk in. I'm like, hey, is there like any shows tonight? She's like, yeah, there is a show. And Oslo is also the most expensive city in the world. So I was like, how much is it? And she was like, it's $60, like $65. And I was like, nah, I can't. And she's like, are you American? I was like, yeah. And then she was like, well, how about this? How about I just give you the student ticket and you come back?
That's cool.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll come back. And I came back and she gives me the ticket and it's the front row of this show.
Wow.
And she's like, oh, by the way, it's all in Norwegian, but you won't have a hard time understanding it. I was like, are you sure?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna I don't know Norwegian. She's like, no, you'll understand it. Yeah. You'll understand the songs.
They're good
and I
actors.
was like, okay. And so I walk in and it just says Frost. And I'm like, okay, what is this? And then I hear as like the curtains pull back, it's like and it's da 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 da. Do you want to build a snowman? I'm like, oh, it's Frozen.
Sing it in Norwegian though.
No, I'm just sound offensive.
Yeah, that'd be so offensive, Josh.
You do it like the Swedish Chef. That's not Norway though.
No. That's still not really. Going back to geocaching again, reason now. The reason why I asked if you geocache without your dad is if you were in Bowling Green, for instance, did you actually find any geocaches with your friends in Bowling Green to sort of show them what it's about then?
I think I actually did a couple of times. Yeah. But that was more like my sophomore or freshman year of college.
Oh, okay.
So it was a while ago.
There is a very special geocache in Bowling Green that Reese has gone to with me. Jonah's been there with me. And that is the Cache Across America geocache for Kentucky is in Bowling Green.
Wow, there you go. Now, Josh, did you actually find it though? Because I've just watched your latest. Video, which, by the way, I'll say is a great video, fantastic video. You and sorry, not you, but Jonah did a great job, and Goliath. Goliath was an absolute star in that video. Josh,
what a star!
What an absolute star! Although it does get a little bit, let's just say, M-rated when you see Goliath have a little shower. But apart from that,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so there's a Cache Across America geocache in Kentucky. And I think this is really important for people to know because this is really about what the show is about, right?
Yeah.
This is Cache Across America is a series of geocaches. There's one special geocache that's designated a Cache Across America cache in each state in the United States. Inside each of those caches, there's a little code. After you've found all 50, you do a little bit of math, and it takes you to the final one in Washington, D.C. So there's lots of people that it's a challenge to try to get every single one of these Cache Across America geocaches to find them all. And I have found 3 of them. Well, no, I have found 2 of them. I've DNF'd one. Yeah. And you can see that on the video. I DNF'd the one in my own state, for heaven's sake.
That's 15 minutes away from you.
Yeah.
Well, in saying that, though, you'd rather DNF that one than DNF one in Alaska or Hawaii, just saying. So
this is so true.
Yeah.
But the Cache Across America geocache, they're often hidden at special places. Mm-hmm. And this one is right outside the National Corvette Museum.
Oh. Well, you can't give too much away because we've got to get the list very, very soon.
Well, that's okay.
In regards to the top 5.
I thought that's where we were going next.
The reason why I asked about geocaching as well is that there's an old virtual, Josh. Have you found the old virtual there? It's from October of 2001.
I'm not sure if I have.
GC228C is the actual GC code. It's October 2001, an old school virtual. So that's there itself. And this sort of virtuals again is one of those ones where I think it's just a photo or answer some questions and that's all it is. So it's kind of like in the middle of town, I do believe too. So it's just really cool. Reese, when you do geocaching with your friends, you don't do the virtual ones, you just do the traditionals, do you? Just to find something, a container of sorts to get them excited about it?
Yeah, for sure. It's usually based on like where we are in that moment. Yeah. So if we're like, in like the historic downtown, then I'm like, hey guys, by the way, under that lamppost, go look underneath. Like something like that.
And they'll be like, what's the drugs?
Like, what is this?
Drugs.
Yeah, it's a drop box. That's right. It's, what, you want me to lift your skirt? What are you talking about? No, the lamppost, the lamppost skirt. Well, Reese, we don't have those lamppost skirts in Australia, so we don't have those hides. And just a quick story, when I first came here to America, the first cache I found was actually in New Jersey, believe it or not. First cache I found in New Jersey, and it was an LPC lamppost. It was a pill bottle. I was so excited because I'd seen all the pill bottles and lamppost caches all on your dad's videos, but I'd never actually found one myself. And I was like, 6,000 or 7,000, finds into my geocaching lifetime, and had never found a pill bottle under a lamp skirt until that day. So there you go.
They're my favorite.
Yeah. They're my least favorite.
But they're so easy to get sometimes. Let's be honest.
Welcome to America. Here's our grungy
drive-thru geocache.
Grungy Walmart geocache with spiders and cobwebs. Yep.
Let's get into Reese's top 5 in no particular order. Josh, you just mentioned this Corvette Museum. Reese, what's going on with is there a Corvette Museum in Bowling Green?
Are you ready for the confession? I know you asked her. Neither myself or Reese has ever gone inside the Corvette Museum, but everybody says you got to go.
Yeah. I'm not like a huge like car girl. So everyone, like literally everyone at my college, when their family comes to town, they like go do like the Corvette Museum. And they're like, it was super cool. So it's I guess it's really cool. I just, in my 4 years living there, I never went. Not one time.
And yet, Josh, it's rare for you not to actually attend a museum, Josh, because to me, you're the king of museums. You've got me into them more so than not.
I'm not really a big car person either.
True.
But this is very interesting. I think there's an earth cache there. I think.
Oh, really?
Because the whole city of Bowling Green is pretty much built on a cave system. And in 2014, a sinkhole happened right on the Corvette Museum, and all these really expensive Corvettes fell into a sinkhole. And now, if you go there, there's a piece of glass, and you can see the sinkhole and see all these destroyed Corvettes in the sinkhole.
Wow,
that's cool. That's cool.
That's
worth the price of admission.
Yeah, that one there, and getting some photos of that would be awesome as well. I can't find the Earth Cache, Josh, on there, so I'm not sure.
Maybe there's not an Earth Cache there, but there should be.
There should be one, and when I attend, then there will be one after I leave. Just saying, because I like my Earth Caches. So, Josh, you mentioned let's go on the cave theme. You mentioned about the caves.
Well, there's several caves.
Yeah, but what do you mean by this whole cave system around Bowling Green?
Well, very nearby. I'd say it's probably about 15-minute drive from Bowling Green.
Nearly everything in Bowling Green is a 15-minute drive.
That's true. Except Nashville. That's an hour away.
Yeah.
But Mammoth Cave is there, which is I think the world's longest cave system in the world.
In the world.
It is a national park. And 560 miles of cave tunnels. It's fantastic.
Well, not 560 yet. Eventually there'll be 560. At the moment, there's 370 miles. If you read the show notes correctly.
Well, that's okay. So what they've already discovered, but there's so much more.
There's so much more to discover. So they've actual mapped 370 miles. Second I saw as well is in Russia at 119 miles long. So more than double of what the second place is in Russia. So this caving system is incredible. I have seen photos. I did do some research, had a look at some photos. Mammoth Cave, it's called, and Mammoth it is. Like, it is huge. It is huge. I mean, I went to the Carlsbad National Park down in New Mexico, and I thought that caving system was incredible. But I have to put this on my bucket list now. So Mammoth Cave in or near Bowling Green, Kentucky, is on my list now.
I think there are some rooms that are large as football fields. It's unbelievable down there. And there's so many different types of tours you can take. You can take history tours. You can take actually geological tours. There's every day they have multiple different kinds of tours. So you can visit this cave multiple times and get a different experience every time. It's really a sight to see. And
geocaching related, again, there are plenty of Earth caches there as well. I think there's like 4 or 5 different Earth caches there too. Now, Reese, I can ask you this question. Have you been to Mammoth Cave?
I have been to Mammoth
Cave. Oh, tell me your experience about Mammoth Cave then.
It is quite overwhelming. Like it feels almost like I don't know, like a wonder of the world. Like you will never experience anything like that other than Mammoth Cave. And the tour is pretty like intense. Yeah. Like you have to like crawl and like
oh wow.
On some of them. Yeah.
On some of them. Yeah. And it truly kind of feels like you're going back in time a little bit. And they also give like you the history of the people who use these caves for like throughout history. So it's a really cool thing.
I believe they were like hideouts in the Civil War and stuff.
Oh,
yeah. Lots of these caves.
There would be. What's the temperature like down there? Is it very like mild sort of temperature and it's pretty constant throughout the whole time as well? I only say that because I found that's what it was like in Carlsbad in their caves.
Yeah, I think it varies a little bit, but
I think it's
like
pretty
cool.
40s and 50s.
Yeah, and it's constant,
which can feel pretty cool when it's like a hot summer day.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's a constant temperature, so even when it's snowing outside or whatever as well, it's still the same sort of temperature inside the caves. So it's amazing that in regards to the caving system. So Mammoth Caves. Now on the list, Reese is number 2 cave, which is a Lost River Cave.
I love this place.
Lost River Cave. Cool. This one, though, is actually closer to Bowling Green itself, though, isn't it?
It's like in town.
Yeah. Reese, have you been to Lost River Cave?
I have been to Lost River Cave.
Tell me about it.
Well, I've been there, 1, for the cave, but 2, there's also zip lining that we did for a couple of people's birthdays on the team that I was on. But Lost River Cave is super cool because... 1, it's a venue spot. So there's a lot of people that like will have weddings or events in the cave.
That's cool.
Which is really cool. But then there's another part of it, which is the tour part, and you get into boats, actually. So it's like it's literally a boat tour. You get into boats, and they like paddle down into the cave, and there's moments where you have to like lay down in the cave. So you don't like hit your head. It's a beautiful, beautiful spot. It's also known to be extremely haunted, along with a lot of Bowling Green. In fact, Ghost Hunters did like a whole episode on Bowling Green and WKU and Lost River Cave because it is a very spooky spot.
I love the idea though of the boat tour, like actually getting on a boat. And Reese, as you say, like in some parts you have to lay down. Is it available if people listening to this podcast itself and think to themselves, you know what, I'd like to go and visit this place as well, but you know, I'm elderly or I'm not as have the abilities of others, etc. Is it still like terrain one? Can people in wheelchairs still attend?
Yeah.
So it's
extremely accessible
to everyone. Yeah,
I think literally everyone can do
it's probably more accessible than your average cave. It's really set up nicely.
It's probably more accessible actually than Mammoth Cave.
This is true.
I would think.
This is true. Especially if you have to crawl at some point through Mammoth Cave, depending on the tour you do, that's incredible.
Sure.
Now,
I'm just going to say the park, the whole area outside of Lost River Cave, it is just filled with geocaches.
Really?
As a matter of fact, it's the Lost River Cave geocaching account. So they really embrace this whole area. I think it's privately owned land.
Yeah.
But they there's 9 geocaches on the property. So it's a great place to go geocaching too.
And there is an earth cache there as well, Josh, I see as well. The Lost River Cave and Valley Earth Cache as well. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I do see the and actual fact there's an event coming up there too, Josh, just to let you know. Very soon. Oh, guess who the event's held by, Josh? This person is one of our listeners, by the way. It's Jim RKY.
Oh, yeah, he's local of Practical Geocaching.
Practical Geocacher. So, shout out to him. I think he listens to this show as well. So, there you go. He's a local of the town too. So,
he'll be really excited about this podcast, I'm sure.
He will.
He'll have to write in and tell us all the stuff we missed.
Absolutely, because there will be plenty of stuff we missed anyway. So, now, Reese, let me go and move on to another one of yours on your list, and it is the Downtown Square. What's so special about the Downtown Square of Bowling Green?
Yeah, so I lived I lived so close to the Downtown Square where I could walk there every day. So it is surrounded by historic homes that are beautiful to look at. It is right at the top. It's like there's a top of the hill, the historic homes that go down into this historic downtown square, which has been pretty much like preserved for a while in Bowling Green. So you have all these historic homes, you have City Hall, but in the square specifically, you have about 3 bars. You have a record store, you have Spencer's Coffee, you have antique stores, and that's typically where a lot of the events for the city are held, like the International Festival or the Pride Festival or the Halloween time, Christmas time, stuff like that.
That looks
really
cool.
refreshing because on the outskirts, it's that main strip with all the chain restaurants.
Yes.
And you go into the downtown square, you're like, oh, this is the authentic Bowling Green, which is similar for a lot of towns. But this one, there's such a sharp contrast between the downtown and then sort of, the strip of chain restaurants.
Exactly.
It's also where Hickory and Oak is located.
Oh, there you go. Well, I'm just looking again, just did some research, looking it up as well. The Fountain Square Park is directly in the middle, and that's the one where looks like a beautiful fountain right in the middle. And as you said, Reese, the backdrop of the actual old town style buildings. Yeah, it like takes you back in time. It's very picturesque, extremely picturesque.
It looks like a movie. It looks like where Forrest Gump sat, with his box of chocolates.
Yes,
that's basically what it looks
life's like a box of chocolates. That's the one. Yeah, it does. It really does. It really does. I like it. Now, moving on from the downtown, you have one more. It's called Shanty Hollow. Shanty Hollow. What the?
Yeah,
Shanty
which
Hollow.
is like I'm thinking about it now. It sounds like a song or like a movie or something like that.
Going on up to the Shanty Hollow.
That's exactly what it sounds like. But this is a trail actually that my friends and I randomly found, and it is truly a hidden gem. It literally feels like you're walking in like a Lord of the Rings movie. There's like these huge boulders that are like the size of a house that you can like climb around. And at the end of the trail, there's actually a waterfall. So it's kind of like a little valley or canyon. It's stunning. It's beautiful, especially in the fall. And I guarantee there's the geocaches there. It's a little difficult to get to because it is kind of hidden, but it's north of Bowling Green, probably about 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, it looks like you take some
some
country roads out there.
Oh,
it's a beautiful drive.
Right. Yeah, it looks like it ends on a lake of some sort.
Yeah.
And just to let you know, Reese, just for your future reference, there are 2 traditionals, 1 multi, and a earth cache.
Yeah.
Find them soon.
And by the looks of it, I think, let me just check for you. I do believe the earth cache could be the actual waterfall because it's right at the tip.
That makes sense.
Which makes sense as well. So that's pretty cool.
It's one of those waterfalls that you can actually stand underneath it. Like it's not very strong, but it's really beautiful.
That's really nice.
So, yeah.
Now, Reese,
be careful though. Another haunted area.
And again, Josh, this is the thing. It's one of those places where Reese said her and her friends just randomly found it and randomly come across it. You know what I mean? And this is what this podcast is about. You know, the gems of the secrets of these small towns that no one normally knows about.
Right. Only the locals.
Only the locals and geocaches normally. So that's pretty cool. Going on to other museums that are in the town, there's a train museum and aviation museum, Reese. Have you been to
Tell us about it.
Have you been to those 2?
I have.
Yeah? What did you think?
10 out of 10 would not recommend.
Oh, there you go.
Whoa.
You hear it here first. We're not dissing any of the places, but you know.
The aviation museum is not a museum. It is 4 planes in a parking lot. I don't understand what qualifies it as a museum. But I remember me and my friend were like, we're going to be adventurous. We're going to go and like find cool things in the town. And we show up. It's literally 4 planes in a parking lot. Wow. And I'm just like, this does not count as a
whereabouts in the town actually is it?
I have no idea. I don't even remember. I blocked it out.
Yeah, she's erased it from a memory, Josh. So that's the aviation. What about the other one? The train museum. I mean, if you're not a trainee,
it is not even a museum. It is literally a train that I feel like they just didn't want to move, and it has like a building next to it, and then they called it a museum.
Oh,
I don't know.
I know I found a geocache on the train.
Yes,
of course, there's a geocache on the train.
Yeah, I am looking now, and Reese, you're right. It looks like a train that didn't want. It's an old school train. So if you're a train nerd and you love these sort of old school trains, then maybe it's worth a photo or 2. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. You know,
or if you're an airplane nerd, you might like those 4 planes.
Exactly. So you may like it, but if you're a 24-year-old college student, probably not go to these sort of things.
Yeah, I don't get it personally, but do what makes you happy.
Exactly, do what makes you happy. Now, Reese, this is not on the show notes. I was looking around the map itself as well. Have you been to the disc golf course that's there?
I actually have.
Yeah.
But not for disc golf, for walking dogs.
Yeah. Same.
A couple of my friends have dogs. And so Bowling Green actually has some amazing dog parks because every single human being in that city owns a dog. So I've been to the dog park.
Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah, I just looked at the disc golf course as well, and it looks really, really nice too. The disc golf park there too. So, and as you said, Reese, and as we always say, there's these hidden gems, you know, throughout the whole town itself, and they've got something for everyone when it comes to, you know, the trains or the planes and the automobiles.
You know what? As I listen to Reese talk about Bowling Green, you know what makes me really think? It makes me think that, man, she's proud of her town. She's proud of her town. That is a damn rare thing these days.
Reese has no clue what you're talking about. She's looking at you with open eyes right now going, what the hell, Dad? Like, seriously?
She knows.
Reese, do you know what he's talking about?
Here's the thing about my dad. My dad has so many catchphrases that we've just accepted as a part of our daily life. We might not know the genesis of this quotation. We might not know the root of it, but we accept it.
Yeah. And usually they're from movies or shows, and we say them so often that my mother, Reese's grandmother, calls myself and my dad Rerun.
Yes.
Like that's our nickname, Rerun.
It's Rerun. Well, you would have watched this movie then, Reese, on Thanksgiving, I dare say, with your father. If not, he would have been by himself. The Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. It's one of his favorite all-time movies, and it's his favorite number one Thanksgiving movie, I do believe. So.
We did watch it, and now I do recall.
We watched it.
I do recall.
Of course we watched it. We watch it every year. Like you should.
Thank you so much, Reese. Anything else that you'd like to add in regards to Bowling Green in Kentucky?
I do have one little wrap-up statement about Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
I think for a lot of the people who don't live in the South in the United States, and actually even outside of the United States, there's this narrative about the South that isn't really completely true. It's not a whole truth. And there's this idea that the South is uneducated and full of tractors and bad food and bad people, and it's simply not true. Bowling Green is one of the most diverse places that I've lived. It has a huge international community. They have a rich culture in the South and a lot of really smart, intelligent, artful people. And so I think that a lot of the time the South has kind of a bad rap for people who don't live in the South. And there is so many beautiful parts of our country, and the South is one of them. And if you feel like, especially if you're a travel person and you have this idea of what certain places are, I would really encourage you to go there and break that stereotype that is in your mind, because there are so many people to experience. There's so many places to experience. There's so many different types of cultures to immerse yourself in. So the South can be a beautiful, great place to live and visit. And you should go and support those places. So
well said, Reese. So well said. And absolutely true. And I do believe that too, coming from, very, very south, so to speak. But in my travels across the US, even New Jersey, people said to me, oh, you're moving to New Jersey, for instance. People have this misconception of places due to social media, due to media in general, due to other older cast of stereotypes. So yes, very, very well said. Very well said. Reese, you do have, I wanted you to shout out now a little bit of your places as well. I'm going to get links from you. What have you been up to in regards to your social media stuff? I see you've got a beautiful, I must say, an absolutely gorgeous camera that I own one as well. That's why I love it. So what have you been up to in regards to that? Where can people find you, Reese, if they need to, reach out to you in regards to your filmmaking stuff as well?
Yeah. So I'm not going to say too much because I do want to say it, that I'm in a season, I say, of building. I have some really, really big ideas and some really big dreams that I'm moving towards. And I would love for people, I'm not ready to share exactly what those things are, but I am here to say that I would love for people to follow me in the process. So you can follow me at Reese the Rock Johnson on Instagram / also Fly Off the Wall video on Instagram. So those two things. But also I would like to shout out my little brother, Jonah Johnson, who is really grinding it out. His Instagram is JMotion Media, I believe. So.
And of course, all these links are going to be in the show notes as well. But yeah, definitely, Reese, I follow you and I follow your brother. And to be honest with you, I'm exceptionally proud, like a father of myself. I'm exceptionally proud of what you guys are doing. And I can only just say, I can actually see Josh's heart like literally fill up with joy as you go through your life and build these things that you want to do and build your own dreams and live out your own dreams in life, which is really cool. Josh, how proud of you, Reese and Jonah, and Oh, I nearly forgot your third child.
Hayden's coming up, too.
He's coming up.
Watch out.
He's the younger one.
Watch out for Hayden Johnson.
100%.
He's more talented than any of us.
100%. And I think Hayden, I believe personally, this is just, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but Hayden is going to be front of camera, not behind as much as what Reese and Jonah are more behind camera work, whereas Hayden's going to be front of camera work. Just saying. It's a possibility. Yeah.
So I'm not only proud of my town,
I'm
also proud of my kids.
Yeah. It's so good to see. So good to see, mate. So good to see. Now, Josh, we can't do this show without our Patreons themselves. You know, we're proud of our Patreons as well. What can we say about our Patreons, Josh?
I'm proud to say that this podcast is 100% supported by our listeners through Patreon. What an amazing tool for us to be able to get support for this podcast. So if you would like to join that crew in supporting us, helping us to create even better content, keeping it free from everybody, for everybody, please consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/treasures of our town.
Now, Josh, I didn't actually speak to you about this yet. However, we normally we don't actually give away physical items to our Patreons. It's more digital products, etc. as well. But after the episode that we had with Katie, remember, and you talked about the smashed pennies? Remember your smashed pennies? Yeah.
I remember the smashed pennies.
Katrina from smashingpennies.net has reached out to me, and she's given me, Josh, ready for this? She's given me a packet of smashed pennies to give away to all of our Patreons. All of our Patreons, and they don't even know it yet.
Wait, like a whole package?
Yeah, like
a whole package to each of them?
Yeah, like I got a full pack and a whole pack to each of them. So,
wow.
Yeah, full pack to each of them. See?
That's so cool.
That's so cool. So thank you very much to
Smashing Pennies.
Katie from smashingpennies.net. Smashingpennies.net, sorry. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So there you go.
That's pretty cool.
How can people find us, Josh, if they want to find us and reach out?
Feel free to reach out to us at treasuresofourtownpodcast@gmail.com, or you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
So that's our show for today. Please subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcasting app. And as always, Josh,
may your travels always lead you to the most unexpected and amazing hidden gems around the world. We'll see you next time, everybody. Bye.
Bye, Reese. Bye. Oh, she sounds so much like us. So much like her.
I know. It's that Gen Z.